What happens when a nation finally says enough is enough? When billions meant for school children, hospitals, and infrastructure development simply evaporate? Welcome to Ghana in 2025, where the new government isn't just talking about fighting corruption. They're naming names, they're following trails, and the Attorney General is even making phone calls at 2 a.m. to demand bank records. This is one of the most explosive corruption showdowns Ghana has ever seen. Fugitives, frozen mansions, money trails, handbags with price tags, and a government determined to claw back every stolen CD. My friends, the loot is so humongous, so astonishing, that the Attorney General calls the retrieval mission by a dramatic onomatopoeic name, the Rumble in the Jungle. Greetings and welcome. I'm Dr. Christy Agau. If you're new, thank you for stopping by. If you've been rocking with me, I appreciate you deeply. If Africa's future, natural resources, and real development matters to you, subscribe. This channel is for you. So we all know the script. A new president vows to fight corruption. And then silence. The old suspects walk free. But this time, Ghana might be breaking the pattern. President John Dramani Mahama sounds serious about recovering what belongs to the good people of Ghana. And his Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, is biting real hard. Mahama entered office with a message: no more safe havens for corruption. He set up the Operation Recover All Loot Committee, ORAL, a 5-member anti-corruption elite squad: Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, Daniel Domelevo, Nathaniel Kofi Boachi, Martin Akpebu, Raymond Archer. Everyone a proven heavyweight in Ghana's anti-corruption battles. Ghanaians jumped in immediately. In 24 hours, 400 reports. By February 2025, over 2,400 complaints covering everything from COVID-19 fraud to infrastructure heists. And the potential recoveries, over $21 billion. Let that sink in. $21 billion. More than any IMF bailout ever. The money is right there in the country, has been there after all the time. But Dr. Ayeni knew something critical. In court, allegations don't win cases. Airtight evidence does. So he sent the oral reports to the National Intelligence Bureau with strict instructions: build strong, airtight, courtroom-proof dockets. No shortcuts. Ayeni and his team are known for their meticulous approach, carefully reviewing dockets and sending them back if they find gaps. His vigilance has become a hallmark of his office. So work began. Take the drip scandal, the District Road Improvement Project. The contract was for $176 million. Amount that was paid was $178 million. Someone threw in a careless $2 million all for themselves. There were 190 pieces of equipment entered tax-free, costing Ghana over 38 million Ghana cedis. These pieces of equipment were not part of the contract. The contractor, J.A. Plant Pool, took advantage and smuggled in using drip as cover, a classic corruption move. There were also machines worth $40,000 invoiced at $84,000. Attorney General Ayeni kept telling Ghanaians, be patient. Cases must be precise. The drip investigations are ongoing. Ayeni's space on this and others incurred the wrath of many. Mr. Domelevo, Mr. Martin Pebu, journalists like Ivan Che Innocent, and grassroots leaders publicly expressed frustration with Ayeni's slow pace. But apparently, slow didn't mean weak. It means deliberate. Cases are now landing in court. Take the infamous Sky Train scandal. Ghana paid $2 million upfront. It received nothing. Not a rail, not a bolt, not a sketch. The company AI SkyTrain Consortium Holdings collapsed in April 2025 with our money. Officials, including Professor Ameyao Ekumfi and Solomon Asamoah, are facing charges for authorizing payments without board approval. Then, of course, there's the National Service Ghost Name scandal. Originally, 540 million Ghana cedis. But after forensic audit, it was 2.2 billion Ghana cedis. Money that could have built hospitals, schools, factories, basic infrastructure, agro-processing factories nationwide to create jobs. Gone into the pockets of a handful of individuals. And now for the main event, the buffer stock company scandal. The Attorney General calls it the rumble in the jungle.
The buffer stock investigation, which are nicknamed the rumble in the jungle, as at March 2020, when we announced the arrest and detention of suspects Kobna Edubohin and his wife Angela Ejie Boateng, the Economic and Organized Crime Office had gathered credible intelligence regarding a criminal enterprise that had been operated by the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Food and Buffer Stock Company Limited, Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab. Initial estimates put the amount of money pilfered by Mr. Abdul Wahab and his collaborators at the time at around 58 million Ghana cedis, far in excess of the 49 million suspected to have been stolen by Mr. Edubohin and his co-accused persons. I call the criminal enterprise operated by Abdul Wahab and his collaborators at Buffer Stock the rumble in the jungle, not only because of the huge amount of money at stake, but because of the fact that while food suppliers were wailing and gnashing their teeth due to failure to pay them for supplies to the Buffer Stock, and while our school kids were being denied nutrition under the school feeding program for lack of funds, Mr. Abdul Wahab and his collaborators were busy lawlessly looting funds meant for the program. That is jungle behavior. The informal meaning of the word rumble is to discover illicit activity or the perpetrator of the illicit activity.
From 2017 to 2024, CEO Hanan Abdul Wahab turned the nation's food security agency into a personal ATM. In June 2025, Iyoko moves in. Abdul Wahab and his wife, Faiza, and others are arrested. Here's the scheme. Sortina Enterprise gets approved as a supplier. Buffer Stock pays them over 78 million cedis. 98% of that is immediately rerouted to the CEO, his wife, and their companies. The Sortina owner confessed some deliveries were real, but most were fiction. Yet payments kept flowing like a broken tap. My people, let's follow some of the money trail. 16.1 million cedis went to Abdul Wahab, the CEO. 23.9 million cedis went to Akani Enterprise linked to Abdul Wahab. Millions more to other entities. 5.5 million cedis funneled to Aludiba Enterprise, not even a registered supplier, also linked to Abdul Wahab. Now, this isn't just corruption. It is sheer cruelty, and as the Attorney General pointed out, all the while school children were starving in school. The money was meant for the children. Now, what did they do with all that money? They were living large. Investigators found and froze a 5-bedroom mansion at Chain Homes for $1.6 million. 3-bedroom house in cantonments worth $600,000. An airport site development worth about $2.5 million. 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gamani in Tamale. A luxury 4-bedroom mansion in Jowulu, a house in Achimota, 10 million cedis in fixed deposits, a fleet of cars, 61 luxury handbags. So expensive that commentator Black Rasta jokingly said that each could build a 3-bedroom house in Ashama. Now fancy that. And there were many more assets frozen. On October 28th, 2025, the Attorney General filed 24 charges against Abdul Wahab and his wife, which included stealing, conspiracy, causing financial loss, using public office for profit, obtaining property through false statements, money laundering, and many more. And that's just one case. Just one case. Ayina is building 33 major corruption cases with 12 investigations complete. Now comes the bombshell. November 18, 2025, former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has been charged, along with 7 others, with 78 counts connected to the SML scandal. My people, 78 counts. The Fourth Estate's expose prevented Ghana from losing billions in the SML scheme, including a $45 million contract that was cancelled and a $2.2 billion deal that was halted. But my friends, there's drama. Martin Babu, respected lawyer and oral member, leveled a devastating accusation at the OSP, Kissy Ejabeng. Kwebu says he doesn't trust the OSP, who he accuses of deliberately weakening the case by adding charges outside its legal mandate. He says, under the OSP Act, investigating financial loss is not within the special prosecutor's mandate. Kwebu insinuates that the OSP may be providing an escape route for Ofori-Atta. Ejabeng admitted that he watched Ken Ofori-Atta leave Ghana and claimed he was powerless to stop him. Critics were stunned. Kwebu says Ejabeng should have informed Ghanaians immediately. Instead, he stayed silent until Ofori-Atta was gone. The backlash has been fierce. Che Innocent says OSP is hopelessly useless. Captain Smart says he has zero confidence in the OSP. Professor Ransford Jampo has been publicly scathing of the OSP. Martin Amidu calls Ejabeng pathologically dishonest. Freddie Blay says the OSP's tenure has been disappointing. Trade unionist Solomon Kumson wants him removed. And there are many more expressing those feelings. Lawyer Kwebu is now preparing a petition for Ejabeng's removal, claiming that the OSP has been less than truthful about his state of helplessness. Kwebu said, right after the December 2024 humiliating election defeat, when President Akufo-Addo's government was politically wounded and weakened, Kissy Ejabeng had Kenneth Ofori-Atta right in his sights. That was the moment, the opening, the window. But OSP waited. And when the horse had bolted, then he steps out with performative antics. Kwebu doesn't mince his words. So, my friends, where does Ghana stand? For the first time in years, political elites, past and present, face real legal consequences. My people, let's not lose sight of the scale here. Ghana's 2026 national budget is $28 billion. Yet the friends and families of the previous administration are alleged to have stolen over $21 billion. That's 79% of an entire year's spending. Gone, poof, just like that. Not misplaced, not lost, just plain stolen. But people, the questions remain. Will accountability last? Will funds actually be recovered? Will these cases finish before politics shifts again? Is the pace too slow? Or this is exactly what's needed for airtight prosecution? But there is hope, friends. President John Mahama isn't talking tough on corruption. He's building a whole new justice machine to hunt it down. Specialized courts, nationwide reach, and 33 cases being investigated, and many already locked and loaded for trial. This is not business as usual. Still, only time will tell, and only if you and I and everyone else keep holding leaders to the fire. So, my friends, if you care about Africa's future, its wealth, its sovereignty, its development, then this is your home. Hit subscribe and let's keep pushing together. Keep sharing. Until the next time, remember, the saga is far from over.